Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 10 things that I'm no longer going to be buying in 2026. If you were able to check out my vision board video, you will have seen everything that I'm trying to achieve and move forward towards this year. And a big part of that, just to kind of like quickly hone in on one of my biggest goals, is to narrow down my budget so I can be more self-sustaining in terms of not relying on an employer to pay me money. I want to make money on my own. So not only do I want to make money on my own and be able to support myself, but I want to spend less. So, if I spend less, then I don't need to make that much on my own. I just have this goal of like, I want to be able to go to Japan for more than a week or so at a time and then be like, well, I hope I get back in a few years, because when you work for a traditional employer, you have limited times off and you don't want to go to the same places every year. There's other places to go. So now that I've kind of gotten to this place in my life, I want to be able to expand on that time and that time to adventure and explore. And so I think the best way that I'm going to be able to do that without waiting till retirement is to try to make an income by myself, either online or through a small business or something like that, and not relying on an employer. So again, I'm just to reiterate, part of that is to make money on my own, but also spending less so that number is a little bit more obtainable. So to hop into some of the things that I won't be spending money on that are out for me in 2026, the first one is restaurant drinks. So when I'm filming this video, it is the 29th of January, and I have successfully gone all month without buying a drink at a restaurant. In fact, in general, we've been able to cut down our trips to restaurants to just the weekends. My husband still has a regular 9 to 5. I work from home and stay with the baby. But sometimes we would go out to lunch or dinner when he got off work, and now I have that cut down to we only go out to eat Saturday and Sunday for lunch, and I'm very intentional with those places. I think about the places that we go to, and I make sure that they're not going to be $50 or $60 meals. Sometimes we have a barbecue place that's right next to our house. I'll send my husband to get a half-pound of meat, and I'll have him bring it home, and I will toast some sourdough, and we'll have our own barbecue sandwiches at the house. And with $10 worth of pulled pork, we each have it, and we're eating for $5. Whereas if we had gone to the restaurant, their pulled pork sandwiches are $16 a piece, plus their drinks are $4, so that's $19. That's $40 for us to go eat there. So just small changes like that. So at least twice on the weekend, I am not getting, so that's about $8 for sure on the weekend. My husband's kind of followed suit, so that's been a money savings. And then I used to go, I wasn't a Starbucks person. I was luckily able to convince myself that $7 drinks were no good a while ago. But I was going to McDonald's and getting $1 unsweet teas, and I was doing that almost daily, so that's been a benefit for me as well. Earlier in the month, I was buying a gallon of Chick-fil-A unsweet tea and bringing it home and having that for the week. But this week I did try to brew my own tea, so we are making progress on that. So restaurant drinks for me in 2026 are out. The next one that I will not be doing in 2026 is buying full price baby clothes. So I got really lucky, and I have a resale baby store right down the street from my house. I actually discovered this kind of shopping on the other side of town before I moved. There was a store like this, and then once I moved, there just happened to be another one right down the street. I think it's called Once Upon a Child. And basically, when other moms are done with their stuff, they can take it there and sell it to them, and then they resell it for a very affordable price. And I've actually used this for more than just baby clothes. So I went and got a bunch of Christmas outfits, because I love seasonal clothing for the baby, just like special memory clothing and things like that. But his bouncer is $110 at Walmart right now, and we got it there for $35. The bottle sanitizer was $80. We got it there for $25. And they often send out coupons where the bodysuits, where they are 20 for $10. And if you shop there a few times, they'll even send you a coupon for a free bodysuit or something like that. So and now between the baby shower and that, we have a good collection of clothes. I do anticipate buying him a little Stitch costume for when we go to Disneyland, so little special outfits like that. But outside of that, I will not be purchasing him $16 bodysuits or more sometimes at Target. Walmart's bodysuits are a little bit more affordable and they come in packages, but when you're getting them for 50 cents or $1 at the other place, and my baby's growing pretty rapidly, so he's only fitting in these clothes for a small window of time, it doesn't really make sense for me to invest in that. So not only really just for clothes, but for other baby purchases as well, I make it a point to check there before I go and purchase at regular price, just because everything for him right now is so temporary. The third thing that we are cutting out in 2026 is cans of soda. So I was doing this when I was on my journey to not do restaurant drinks. I was getting cans, but it's not even like cost per ounce is that bad. So when you look at the tag, cost per ounce on a liter versus a can, I think it's 3 cents difference per ounce, 3 to 5 cents, which isn't really crazy when you like kind of zoom out in terms of like dollars you're spending. But what's really getting me is when you go to buy the case, like you're not buying like 6 cans for the week at a time, like you're buying a case, and then the stores kind of get you where, at least in my market here in Las Vegas, you buy 2 cases, you get one free. So then you have to buy 2 cases because you want the extra one for free. That's the best deal. Then I get some for my husband, and while probably over a long period of time, that ends up being not that bad of a price. When I'm going to grocery shop, the cases are $11.99, then I'm buying 2, so that's $24. And then I'm buying my husband's, because I drink Coke, he drinks Dr. Pepper, then he's getting $24, and next thing you know, I'm gonna have to cash register and it's $50 in soda, which in some cases, like last week, I only spent $38 to top off my groceries, so I would have spent more in soda. So it's really not a good habit that we are trying to hold on to anyway. So I have been switching over to liters, which at my store are $1.25. Towards the end of the week, they do start to go a little bit flat, but you know, it's $1.25, so that means for both of us, it's less than $5 a month if we get one a week. And you know, if I don't finish mine because it's a little bit flat, great, less soda in my system. That might be a little bit of a wasteful mindset, but you know, maybe eventually we can just kind of kick the habit. I know they do make smaller, you don't have to get like a 2-liter, but we switched over to Dr. Pepper Zero and Coke Zero, so they only do the 2 liters, so we can't get the 1 liter. If I drink regular Coke, I could get the 1 liter, and that would be less, so we would be getting 2.5 at the end of the week. But yeah, just when I went to check out and it was going to be $50 in cans of soda, I was like, absolutely not, we're not doing this anymore. We don't even want to have this habit. So cans of soda are a no for us now. The next thing is manicures and pedicures. So this month I've taken it upon myself to actually put in the effort to do my own pedicure. Manicures I've never really gotten. I used to get full sets, but for polish and things like that, I've never gone to get it done because I just feel like it's easier for me to do my hands. I've been a bit lazier with my feet, but now that I'm not pregnant anymore, and honestly I always talk myself into getting the next one up, so I never really get the $45 or $50 one. I always talk myself into the longer massage, and those end up being $70, $75, and then you got a tip, and you know, I don't want to be a small tipper. I want to be respectful, so it just ends up getting into a budget that I don't want to participate in anymore. So I might consider doing it if I have a wedding to go to later this year and I just want them to be French tip and really nice, then I might consider that. But as far as like a monthly maintenance, I will not be doing the $75 pedicures anymore. I will be doing it myself. And for my nails, I have been doing nail, I guess they're like stickers, or I can't remember the word, but they're by Dashing Diva. I was doing the tip ones, the press-ons, but with the baby, he likes to suck on my fingers. He doesn't really like his chew toys yet. So I decided to do the decals because I keep my nails really short and they stay on pretty well. So I think the tips kind of get a lot more stuff in because of the glue underneath it. They just get dirtier. So in this phase of life for being a mom, I am just doing the decals, and these have been $7 a pack. And the pedicure stuff, I just have a ton of stuff that I bought throughout the years for nails. So that's currently costing me nothing. So to go from $75 down to about $7 a month is a big win for my budget. The fifth thing that I am not buying in 2026 is books. Now let me explain this one. So I am doing books. I recently posted a video about my poster library where I made a poster and I am printing out stickers of the covers to keep track of the books I'm reading. But the books that I committed to reading in 2026 are classic books. I can't even think of the names. Like Pride and Prejudice and Little Women. I finished Pride and Prejudice already, and Little Women I'm like 30% of the way through. That one's kind of been a little bit tougher for me. But I'm doing audiobooks and they're all on YouTube so far. So I just been able to listen to them for free on YouTube. And then I am also planning on utilizing my digital library card. Normally I would have no problem just $30 for a book, but you do that a few times and some of the books I don't get around to, and they just kind of stack up in my library. So for this year, I just want to stick to the classical books. That's my goal anyway. A lot of those are available for free, and the library is a great resource. So I will not be spending money on books in 2026. Number 6 is eyebrow services. Now I have not attempted this yet, but kind of along with the nail stuff is just trying to do more beauty things myself, because a lot of that stuff can add up pretty quickly when you go and get everything done for you all the time. And I want to get to the point where I would like to get more advanced facials. I want to get like a photo facial and things like that. So cutting out some of the smaller beauty routines that would be in my control is definitely a priority for me while I work my way out to being able to put that into my budget. And I am going to start trying to just clean up a little bit here and a little bit there. I don't need anything too crazy. I do like my eyebrows a little bit thicker. So it's just getting in the habit of plucking a little bit here and there. And for me, I technically could go twice a month. I realistically only end up going once a month. But when I go twice a month, I spend about $20 a time. So that's about $40 a month. So for me in 2026, I will not be doing that. Number 7 is single-use soap bottles. So things like Bath and Body Works, foaming soap and things like that. I will not be doing that anymore. If you saw 5 plastic things that I'm not buying anymore in 2026 video, you will have seen that I started buying gallons of soap, and you can buy a gallon of, sorry, I'm not used to talking so much. So you can get foaming soap by the gallon on Amazon, and I love the smell of lavender. So I purchased one of those. So single-use soap bottles are out for me. I will only be buying them by the gallon. It's better plastics and it's more economical as well. So number 8 is a gym membership. A little bit controversial because you can definitely justify spending money on this. I think, you know, anybody who does it, I applaud them for it. Proud of them. Wish it was me. But for years and years and years and years, I have spent money on gym memberships, and I have just never made the space and time to do it. Not because I can't make the time, not because I have excuses and things like that I want to toss out there. I think if you want to do it and get it done, you can make space for it. But I just never did that. And now that I'm a mom, I don't see my mindset changing anymore. By the time my husband gets home from work, he does take over the baby, but that's when I like to work on things for myself and cook dinner for my family and be with my husband. While I should and probably would want to go to the gym, I don't see myself doing it. I'm tired of lying to myself, telling myself that I am going to do it. So for a few times this month, I've actually worked out at home. That's not nearly as many times as I would like to do it, but I am trying. I also have a very injured back. My son is 4 months and he's already over 20 pounds. He was born 11 pounds 6 ounces. I had a C-section. My abs are wrecked. And I think he was born in September, and I've probably thrown out my back at least nine plus times since he's been born. And it's getting to the point where actually the last few have been like maybe a week or 10 days apart. So I really need to start doing more exercises, and I have, but I have to be really careful because my back is super vulnerable right now. And even when I was trying to do exercises, and once when I was trying to do exercises, I threw it out, and once when I was doing stretches, I threw it out. It was just I bent and turned a way that my back just did not like, and I just locked up. So I just need to kind of work through that, and maybe when we get back from our trip, I can consider going to the physical therapist. But all that to say, I want to make space to work out and do exercises here at home. I'm not going to be taking the time to spend money and go to a membership and leave the house. The ninth thing that I will not be doing in 2026 is unplanned food. So I've been working on a video in the background where it's eating everything in my pantry. And doing that video has been super eye-opening to me. I hope I can find a way to edit that video that really lands with everybody, because I just would really, not really eat at home or cook. And then when I would go out to the grocery store, I would just kind of think of meals I wanted to get stuff for that. I don't know, really wasn't truly utilizing my pantry to its fullest potential. Things in the refrigerator would go bad, cans in the pantry would sit there forever, stuff in the freezer would just get forgotten about, and I wasn't leveraging all the food that I would purchase from previous, and I wasn't picking recipes that build off ingredients that I had already had. I was just kind of mindlessly going through it. My pantry would get built up and I'd throw things out. Pantry stuff and freezer stuff, we weren't super bad at. Pantry were probably the least bad at, because I tend to gravitate towards pantry foods for some reason, like canned soups and pastas and things like that. I like to eat that the most. Freezer was our second worst. It just lasts longer, it doesn't go bad, so the waste isn't as bad. There would just be something, like 2 or 3 things that I would buy, be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and just never really do it. But the worst was really the fresh food, where I would have the idea like, I'm gonna eat vegetables this week, or we're gonna have salad, or we're gonna have meat or whatever, and plan it, and then we'll end up going out to eat with my parents or my friends, and we don't eat it, and then I don't transfer it to the freezer, and then it ends up going bad. So I actually made an entire meal plan for all of February. I budgeted it out because we are traveling. We're going to Disneyland. I wanted to make sure I was still in my food budget even though I'm traveling. So I kind of pre-planned out my meals and did like a rough budget on how much I'm going to spend on groceries. So then when I picked out my Disney restaurants, I had an idea of like, okay, we're probably going to spend about this at Disneyland, but I'm not going to go spend my full grocery budget and then go to Disneyland and spend on top of that. I wanted to be really mindful of making that all work, that, you know, I wanted to get in the mindset of, we're going to Disneyland this year or this month. That means we're making that decision to spend that extra money. That means we have to make sacrifices somewhere else, because in the past I would go to Disneyland and treat myself to that, which is fine, but not make any sacrifices, which I was getting away with that because I was making more money. But now that I'm working part-time, now that I have this goal to have self-sustaining money, I can't just be making silly decisions like that. So really not doing any unplanned food, being very intentional, and definitely a big part of it is leveraging my freezer. So if something does pop up, or I go to dinner with my friends or family, that, you know, if I buy meat, it goes in the freezer and we get that right back on the schedule for the following week. So for me, 2026, unplanned food is not part of the plan. And then the last one, which is a little bit like, okay, I'll just say it. So it's candles. I'm not doing candles in 2026. With that being said, there is one candle I might buy. So I'm not going to be buying the cheap candles at Bath and Body Works or Walmart. I want to stay away from stuff that has perfume. I would like to stick to stuff that has like essential oils and things like that, higher quality waxes. But I'm actually going to be switching over to wax melts. I installed candle light bulbs in my chandelier in the living room, so that kind of flickering bulb effect, I feel like I have that at least enough in that way where I don't have to burn something in the house with the baby in it that has fragrance in it. So it's really the burning that I don't want to do. I would like to not do perfume. I want to do more essential oils and things like that, or higher quality scents. But I'm going to be switching over to wax melts. Wax melts for me last way longer, and I'm not burning something in the house with a baby. And they're way cheaper than an actual candle, and they last longer for me. With that being said, the one candle that I think I am going to buy at some point is my favorite one from XL McKenna, the Auden Lore, her candle line. But I'm not going to use that as a candle. She has really high quality scents and wax, and I'm just going to order the candle and then melt it down and make my own wax melts out of it, because she has a really strong fragrance and a high quality fragrance. I think the melts will actually last a long time, because when I get her candles, they're $50, and they only last a week for me because I love it so much. I will burn it every day, and then in a week it's gone. $50 for a week. And I respect that she's a small business. I respect the quality of the glass and the packaging, and her mom does the art and all that stuff. But unfortunately, $50 1 week burn candles don't have a place for me in my budget. So I'm hoping I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to get my favorite scent. I'm going to melt it down into melt, and I'm hoping that if I can 1 cube honestly is pretty good for me for about a week or so. So I'm hoping if I can get like multiple cubes out of it, that maybe I can get that down to 2 candles a year. And that, not that I'm using it every single, like obviously during Christmas I'm going to change out the scent and things like that. So if I get 2 candles and I melt it down and I get, 10 cubes out of it, then I can get a pretty lengthy use out of her candle. And then just in general, switching over to waxes. So that's everything that I will not be buying in 2026. I'm super curious to see what you guys are going to be cutting out. So comment below things that you're going to be taking out of your budget based on some of the things I said. If you think you have any ideas for me to cut additional things out that you think I might be purchasing that could benefit my budget for 2026. And I'm also curious, do you guys have any budget hacks or tips or tricks or things that have helped you cut down on your spending? It's really hard because I do like to decorate my home. I have been enjoying clothes more. Those are really, clothes is probably less so, but it's really just my home that I like to spend money on. But I have been slowing down on that. So for the most part, we're not crazy with our budget. It's really just spending on the home and travel that we spend most of our budget on. And previously food, but for the month of January, we actually ended up under $1,000 for the 2 of us, which still sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but for us was a big progress. So about $500 a person. And I think in February I'm going to end up being even better, even though we're going to Disneyland. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I have some other videos in the works. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.